going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. Happy Monday. Hope you guys all enjoyed your weekend. And before we get into today's topics, I want to ask you guys a question. How many Game of Thrones fans do we have in here? I'm just genuinely curious because the final season is here and winter is finally upon us. The first episode aired yesterday and it was amazing. I've been talking about it all day with coworkers and friends, so I'm just curious to know how many of you guys are in here watching. Let me know in the comments below, and let's get into today's topics. Now, this weekend and even today has been relatively slow in terms of superhero news, but we do have some things to talk about. We're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about Shazam and how it's doing at the box office. And I put out my non-spoiler review and a spoiler review of this movie. Just to let you know right now, I absolutely loved it. There will be no spoilers here, but if you want to check those out, you can check some of them out here. Shazam, it is on pace to be the lowest grossing DCEU movie so far, and that's okay because it's made with a relatively low budget, and I've talked about this before, anywhere from $80 to $100 million, so that is relatively low compared to other superhero movies. But it looks like internationally, at this current time, it's made $221.2 million. And it's currently sitting number one in the box office right now, despite in its second week having some new contenders to face off against the movie in the theaters. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But yeah, it's likely that it's going to maintain its number one spot until Avengers Endgame shows up later this month. Super hyped for that too. But yeah, in previous videos I talked about how how this movie, making less than other DCEU movies wasn't really a problem, but I also did talk about how the early release date, the early fan screening, the 2-week early fan screening may have hurt Shazam at the box office, and there's probably a number of reasons why, and I detailed that on a previous video. But it looks like a lot of you guys agreed with me, whereas Aquaman had a 1-week early fan screening, which seemed to really help the movie. This 2-week early fan screening might have hurt the movie because the buzz that all the hardcore fans have had might have died down by that time, and people like myself who intended to watch it 2 or 3 times by now still has not gotten in there for that second or third time, just because I got really busy. A lot of other things popped up in life, and yeah, I just haven't gotten around to that, and the buzz seemed to have died down just in my own circles. And some of you guys have let me know that even in your circles, the buzz for the movie died down after that early fan screening, especially with it being 2 weeks away from the release date. So that looks like it was the case. At least, that at least had a small effect on the movie, if not more. But yeah, 221.2 million, and it's probably going to hit that 300 million mark, and it's probably going to be considered profitable. But it just saddens me because this movie could have done so much better. I do think they hid a lot of the movie from the marketing, even though I thought the marketing was great for the movie. But yeah, I really think that 2-week early fan screening might have hurt it. But yeah, it held up number one, so that's currently, just to let you guys know how it's doing right now. I'm curious to know how many of you guys are going to still make it in there for that second or third viewing. I know I'm still going to try to do that because there's a lot of details I think I missed in the first viewing, and I definitely want to check it out again. But I'm curious to know how many of you guys are going to get in there one more time before Endgame comes out. So let me know in the comments below. But other movies that it had to compete against, Hellboy. Now, Hellboy is a character that, he's probably one of the most beloved characters outside of the Marvel DC group of characters, and I haven't yet got into reading Hellboy in the comics. I do want to get into it. It's just, whenever I got the time to do it. But I'm curious to know how many of you guys have watched the movie, because currently Hellboy is shaping up to be a massive flop. I don't think any of us were expecting it to make a ton of money, at least not Marvel or DC money, but I think all of us expected it to do better than this. So it looks like this opening weekend it made $12 million, and it looks like it cost about $50 million to make, and it's sitting at a C cinema score, and it's not looking very good. I haven't gotten in to see this movie yet just because I've heard a lot of bad things about the movie. Now, I have seen some commentators online praised the movie for what it is and found it enjoyable. Not perfect, but enjoyable. So I still am a little curious to watch this movie, but man, I gotta say, I am not. It's really I'm really having to force myself to try and get in there because just the marketing itself didn't get me incredibly hyped for this movie. So it is a little disappointing that another comic book movie like Hellboy and such a beloved character is opening up to such poor numbers. But it looks like Hellboy is a massive flop. Shazam retained that #1 spot, even though Hellboy, a lot of us thought if you would have asked us 6 months ago, might have been some competition for Shazam, and it doesn't look that way. So how many of you guys went out there to see it? What did you guys think? Try to keep it non-spoiler if you can in the comments below, because I seriously want to watch it, but really I'm having to force myself at this point. It's such a packed month, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm probably going to see Shazam one more time at least. I'm probably going to see Endgame like 2 times at minimum. So I'm like, do I need to spend a little bit more money and check out Hellboy? Should I just wait for it to be on streaming? Because man, the critics are bashing this movie, and I know critics shouldn't sway my opinion one way or another. That's why I'm asking you guys. You guys who are following this channel tend to like similar things that Darren and I like. Did you guys enjoy Hellboy? Let us know in the comments below. If we do end up watching it, or if Darren or I end up watching it, we'll definitely put out a review for it. So stay tuned for that. But let's get on to the next topic, the Birds of Prey movie. It looks like they are wrapping up filming, and we got what looks to be the new logo for this Birds of Prey movie. So what you got here is Harley Quinn, obviously sitting on a chair on set, and on the back of that chair looks to be the new Birds of Prey logo, and I like it. I gotta say off the bat, I like it. I think it looks cool. The Birds of Prey written in gray, and in the lettering is kind of a silhouette of some things that kind of represent our characters. So we have what it looks to be an arrow, we have some sunglasses, we have a dagger on the S, we have a bat, we have, I think it's a diamond right there, and we have another mallet, and then that E at the end looks like it is some brass knuckles. So I thought that was pretty clever. And then obviously in pink it says, so Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One, Harley Quinn. And I think it looks pretty cool. If this is the logo for the movie, I'm pretty happy with it. Now, it doesn't really tell us anything about the movie itself. And in previous videos, again, on the previous videos I've made on Birds of Prey, I've talked about the set leaked photos, and you guys have all gone through that with me. And I think the consensus is that the costume design is not exactly awe-inspiring, and it's not really driving a lot of confidence within the fan base. For me, I'm still interested in watching it, but yeah, I think a lot of people are upset about the costumes right now. But and that's fair. To be honest, that's fair. I want to see more from this movie before I actually really take a hard stance on whether or not I'm on board. I mean, I'm on board at the moment, but who knows what this movie is going to play out like, because we don't really know a lot. We haven't seen a lot from it outside of the leaked set photos and that kind of test screening thing that they dropped earlier this year. So let me know what you guys think about this logo. Does it work for you? And how excited are you for this movie? The last thing we're going to talk about today is Stan Lee, and it looks like this may be this Avengers Endgame movie will be the last time we'll see Stan Lee cameo in a Marvel movie, and that is according to the directors. I will quote them here. It's his last one committed to the film, Endgame co-director Joe Russo tells Mashable. So previously they weren't sure if it was gonna be Endgame or Spider-Man Far From Home, but it looks like, according to Joe Russo, it's gonna be Endgame. And he says, I have to say, I think it's astonishing that this would be his last cameo. It's just kind of mind-boggling that he made it to the end of this run. I can't believe it. And yeah, it seems like a fitting ending for the Stan Lee cameo appearances. And I've enjoyed every cameo appearance Stan Lee's had. Every one of them has been really fun to watch. It's been really incredibly fun to look out for in every Marvel movie, and it is quite fitting that this is going to be his last one, given how this is the culmination what, 10 years of Marvel, 22, 23 movies. I can't remember how much on the top of my head, but yeah, I'm just hoping it is one that's going to be satisfying, and Stan Lee could have the right send-off. If you guys watched Captain Marvel, you guys know there was a really touching Stan Lee tribute in the beginning before the movie started, and I thought that was great, and I'm hoping they send him off in the right way here. Let me know what you guys think about that news. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.